Flat Top Mountain here in southern West Virginia. This is the Allegheny Front Almanac. I'm Doc, and this week, winter held on with both hands. The kind of cold that doesn't just visit, it settles in. This is your almanac for the week of February 1st through the 7th. This was a frigid week on the mountain. The kind where cold is everywhere, where your breath just hangs in the air. And the frozen waters, they become part of your daily routine. It was just a full week of checking, thawing, and trying to stay ahead of things. It was unglamorous work. Sometimes that's what winter demands. With the cold holding strong, most of my efforts were to stay inside, working for my new plans on planting seeds, the next level beyond the wish list. I was thinking about spacing, timing, succession. I also spent some time laying out plans for my new spiral garden in the just-in-time garden area. Nothing planted yet, not even the ability to get the shovel to start shaping it. Sometimes, just thinking about it is enough. Lisa spent the week baking bread. Forest berry bread, chocolate chip bread, plain sourdough. Filled the house with that lovely smell. It helped slow me down a bit. Got me thinking again about teaching more skills, like bread making, this coming year. There's something grounded in sharing skills that help teach people to feed themselves directly. A way to take control over your health again. Winter is still very much in charge. All the ponds, frozen solid. There's no mud, no melt. Just hard, quiet ground. The only real hint of spring came overhead. A small group of confused Canadian geese. They flew in low, searched for the open water, and it just isn't there. A reminder that the calendar may say February, but the land moves on its own schedule.
Lingering snow showers and gusty wind across the northern mountains will continue to gradually taper overnight, giving way to a dry start to the new work becoming building high pressure. Temperatures will moderate through Tuesday, with another cold front arriving midweek that could bring rain, then snow showers.
The mountain weather forecast for Flat Top, West Virginia, from February 8th through the 14th. Guys, this week opens up not as cold, but with a cloudy mix in the daytime temperatures climbing into the low 40s. Guys, nights will stay below freezing, so winter is still ruling. It's going to thaw by day and refreeze by night. Midweek turns cloudy and colder, with that noticeable bite returning by Wednesday and Thursday. Breezes will make it feel sharper, especially in the afternoon, with those overnight lows dipping deep into the teens. Friday brings a brief break. The sun will peek through calmer air and a steadier feel on the ridge. By Saturday, we're watching a milder, wetter system slide in. Temperatures may rise up into the upper 40s, with rain possible late in the day. The kind of weather that softens the ground a little bit and helps the mud return. Overall, it's a week of back and forth winter. Cold holding on, but loosening its grip just enough to remind us that things are changing. Up above us, the sun stayed busy this week, though not in the ways people expected. On February 4th, there was a Power X 4.2 solar flare that erupted from active region 4366. Despite its intensity, the flare, it was impulsive, it was dramatic, it was sharp, but it was also over quickly. And most importantly, it did not launch coronal mass ejection towards Earth. Though later that same day, we were watching a previous launched CME that came from an X 8.1 flare that happened on February 1st, and it arrived at 16 nanoteslas, which was a sudden impulse, pushing geomagnetic conditions to an active KP4, or a magnetic storm of G1. Guys, so over the next couple of days, the sun is going to stay unsettled. We're going to see elevated solar wind speeds between 550 and 600 kilometers per second, keeping forecasters watching closely. Now, there is another M2.2 flare that fired off from AR 4362. Now, while AR 4366, though beginning to decay, has held on to its beta gamma delta magnetic structure, which means more flares are possible. So in plain terms, the sun's active, not overactive. Something to keep an eye on. Because this is the kind of activity that tends to show subtleness. Because they're not clean releases. They're not releases of pressure. Just little at a time. Helping the people that feel on edge, helping the people that are feeling emotionally on the surface, helping that tension bubble up. There's nothing to panic about, but there's plenty to be mindful of. There's been a lot of emotional weather around this week. Sean has moved to rehab, which is great news, a clear sign of forward motion and healing. Recovery takes time, but this is the direction that you want to be going. Beyond that, folks have just seemed strained, short-tempered, raw nerves. A sense that everyone is carrying a little bit more than usual. Maybe it's the sun. Maybe it's winter. Maybe it's just the weight of the world. Whatever the cause, it's worth remembering that we're all moving through something right now. And a little patience goes a long way. This has been a week of cold on the outside, but it's also been a week where folks are feeling cold on the inside. Heavy with the things that they see in the world that feel unjust, unsettling, or even downright heartbreaking. Maybe you read things online that have stirred a deep kind of anger. The kind that doesn't burn hot for a moment and go out. It sits on your shoulders, twists in your guts. Maybe you're watching disagreements over immigration, over enforcement, over punishment, power. You feel that same knot of frustration and hopelessness. These aren't small things. These are the kind of issues that can make a person feel raw, feel rattled, feel adrift. Anger in the face of injustice isn't not unnatural. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's a signal. It's a way your mind and your body says, this matters. This hurts. And I care. Remember, anger is not the opposite of compassion. It can be the beginning of compassion. If we learn to listen, if we learn to just not let us drive us apart. At the same time, anger without direction, especially in large, complex issues that don't get resolved on a timeline we like, that will eat us up inside. It can make us feel small, feel powerless, or worse, it disconnects us from people that are right beside us. It can push us towards places that feel dangerous. Not because we intend to harm, but because anger without grounding turns outward in a way that hurts others and hurts ourselves. Sadness and frustration, because they're cousins of anger. They show up when the world looks like it's on edge. They show up when you care about humanity, but feel that care doesn't get recognized. They show up when the news feels endless, when you haven't had a moment to take a deep breath. So take a breath. Here's what winter reminds us. You can feel all of those things. Sadness, anger, frustration, hopelessness. And still choose how to respond to them. The land doesn't tell us to ignore the weather. It tells us to notice it. It tells us to move careful, to tend to what is in front of us, and to stay steady. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's even okay to be a little lost in it. Because those are real feelings with real roots. And pretending they don't exist, that doesn't make them go away. But anger that lashes out at people around you, the neighbor in the grocery store, your family on Facebook, the folks on the other side of the world, only multiplies the weight that we all carry. Anger becomes contagious, not when it's expressed honestly, but when it is unacknowledged and unexamined. Here's what I say for you. Gently, without minimizing what's in your heart, notice your anger. Notice your sadness. And name it. And feel it. Do not let it become a weapon against the people you share your life with. Care for the things that upset you. That's being human. Care for the people that are around you. That's wisdom. Anger does not have to be contagious, but compassion can be, understanding can be, and patience can be. And sometimes, the work anger asks us isn't to find a place to throw it in, but to convert it to the kind of attention that looks like clarity, kindness, and an action where you are actually having an influence. Winter doesn't ask us to pretend nothing is wrong. It asks us to slow down so we can see what's right in front of us. Then we act from a place of strength, not fracture. When clarity replaces chaos, the care outlasts outrage. This was a week of deep cold, of quiet planning, and of heightened emotion. It was in the land. It was in the sky. It was also inside of us. Winter's still holding strong, but the light, it is changing. Slowly, patiently, just enough to notice if you're paying attention. The days are stretched by minutes now, and even when the cold hasn't loosened its grip, the shift matters. Just remember, the season isn't asking us to rush. It's just asking us to be more careful, to tend to what is steady, our homes, our people, our bodies, our minds, to remember that the pressure doesn't automatically mean collapse. More often than not, it means something to adjust. Something new is taking shape just below the surface. So stay warm, stay mindful, and take care with the energy that you carry and the way you pass it along. We don't get to control the weather or the world, or even the timing of change. But we do get to choose how we meet it. As long as we meet it with awareness, with patience, and with one another. Until next time, I'm Doc, here in the heart of Appalachia. Live slowly, love deeply, and fear